Foxworthy, the cable guy. Jeff Foxworthy? Cable guy, Larry the cable guy. All right, Larry by a landslide. Larry by a landslide. There's your answer, sir. We're here to hold a quick poll right here. You're welcome. Let's get back a little bit about technique on these sight fishing. Jason, what's the latest techniques you might have used for sight fishing? You know, we used to have to use light line, 6-pound line, little bitty rods, and that kind of stuff. What do you use nowadays for sight fishing?
You know, I use a smaller swim bait. It's a mission fish. Looks like a brim, and they make the weight in the nose of that thing, and it really stands up good in the bed. And as you know, a largemouth bass hates for a brim to come anywhere near their bed. So I've had some success with that, and also a jig. I'm not really a light line tube, finesse type guy, even when I'm sight fishing clear water. I try to make them react to the bigger baits and the bigger line because I know I got a better chance of getting them in the boat. And I think I have better success when the fish are larger, 3-pound class or bigger, using those two baits that I just described. Now, when the fish are not as big and they're real finicky, you absolutely need to use a light line, a tube, a finesse worm, a little crawl or something like that. But here this week, it was kind of a mixed bag for me. Some of the bigger fish that I caught and seen reacted to the bigger baits well, and then of course there's a lot of finessing going on even today. So.
All right, guys, do you think the advent of fluorocarbon line has really changed your approach to this sight fishing techniques? Have you upsized your line size quite a bit, or do you still use that light stuff?
I have about 12, 15 rods on the boat when I'm sight fishing because I feel like changing up the bait and giving them something different. You never know when you're going to trigger that bite. But I got line from 6-pound line to 50-pound braid. If it's a big one on a bed, I'm not going to start off with a light line. I'm going to start off with the heavy line until they, make me change my mind.
That's about right. So what I hear from everybody over the course of years, I remember years ago when we first started sight fishing, everybody used 6-pound line. Now everybody uses 20 and 30 and braid. We don't scare those fish nothing like we used to think we do. Any other questions out here? Anybody thought of a good question for these guys? Yes, sir. Speak loud. Using trick worm flipping with 1.5 ounce weights. Okay. All right, Casey, give me a quick clue on what you use for weights and line when you're flipping and pitching and stuff like that.
Well, on a lake like this, the water's clear, you're fishing docks. Normally you're not fishing but 20 feet deep. I mean, the deepest dock I've seen is 20 feet deep. No, you don't need a 1 ounce or a 3/4 ounce to get your bait down there. When it's clear like this, most of the time the fish, they key in on that slower fall. 1 ounce, 3/4, ounce and a half, that's for pitching grass. If you got real heavy matted grass, you want to get that heavy weight and punch your bait down in it. Here, no, 1/2 ounce, quarter, sometimes even an 1/8 is what I would use. So, yeah, clear water, you kind of want to steer towards those lighter weights.
All right, great question. Anything else right now? Yes, sir, shout out.
How much does the water temperature affect the fish?
How much does the water temperature affect the sight fishing or the fishing in general? Okay, how much does the water temperature affect the fishing, Mark?
100%. It's everything. When we got here, water temp was mid-50s or so. We started to fluctuate a little bit. It dropped a little bit for a couple nights, and now it's back. This main lake area right here is over 60 degrees now, and that's a big trigger to these fish moving up, is water temperature. And just as much as 1 degree will affect these fish, just 1 degree difference. So when we were looking, most of us were looking at north pockets that were facing south, that were protected from the north wind. They warm up a little quicker. If you had a choice to fish one bank or the other, water temp, usually on the sunny side, is going to be a little bit warmer. There's some other factors too, but water temp plays a major factor in bed fishing.
All right, there's your good question. Now let's ask for a little bit of predictions here. We're going to ask each one of these fishermen what they think weight is going to win the tournament and their pick for who's going to win the tournament. This could be interesting. Let's throw friendship out the window here. Let's get really gritty with it, guys. Let's really think about this. You know who's kind of catched them, who's not. We all know the local scuttlebutt. So let's all think about this and give me a winning weight and a winning person. Here we go.
Well, I think the weights are going to go up the next 2 days. I really think it's up for grabs on who's going to win it. Obviously, if KVD's in the top 5 or top 90 after the day one, he's probably going to have a good chance of winning it. I'd like to see Fred Urbanus win. I think Fred's a great sight fisherman, and I think there's a swim bait bite out there, and if he can put those two together, he might take it home.
All right, 31 pounds.
As far as 31 pounds, I'd probably say add another 36 to that.
All right, that takes it up to about 67 pounds right there. What's yours, Mark?
I'd have to say right around there too, 60, 65 pounds right in there. And I'm going to go with Matt Herron. He's a fellow Ski-Doo Yamaha pro, and we're camped right next to each other here at the state park. And I know what his practice habits were and what he did in practice. And I'd have to say he had more fish and bigger fish marked on this lake from one end to the other. So my money's on Matt Herron, Ski-Doo Yamaha pro.
All right, there's a KVD, a Fred Urbanus, and a Matt Herron, excuse me. What do you think, Jeremy?
Mike, I'm going to go with Greg Hackney. He's sitting in 15th. He's just a few pounds out of the lead, really. It's one fish. And I know the kind of practice he had, and I'm staying with Greg, and he's seen some really big fish that were right ready to lock on the bed. So I think it's going to be a big deal for a bed fisherman. And I'm not sure if KVD's bed fishing or not, but I really think that a bed fisherman is going to win this tournament.
Kind of hard to bet against old KV when he's in lead, though, isn't it?
It is, but he is beatable. I proved that one.
Yes, you did.
Well, Mike, I'm going to have to do the no-brainer. I'm going to have to go with KVD. I happen to be staying with him this week, and I heard him talk to a couple people last night, and I think he's figured out a couple things that are really, really key to some of these fish people are seeing and can't catch. So I think he's going to do it. Now, I'm going to say around 70 pounds, and I think KVD will get it done.
That's a good bet. Here you heard from two roommates here, so they kind of stayed with a little friend there, but they're talking good stuff here. What do you think, Casey?
Well, I think it's going to take about 63 to 64 pounds. They're probably going to catch them really good today. Tomorrow, I don't really know what they're going to do, but my two picks are going to be, of course, KVD. He's going to be right up there. I mean, anytime he gets the lead, he's a force to be reckoned with. But I'm going to go with Greg Hackney also. He seemed pretty excited when he was on stage yesterday about what he found, and I believe him. So we're gonna find out what happens.
All right, there you go. There's your picks. Now I'm going to do a little crowd pick here. Let's think about this, guys.